So, with an extreme suspicion of television, what has your experience been?
Not just suspicion, disdain.
All right, let's do this proper. With your apoplectic rage about television, let's give it its full billing.
Yeah.
What's been your experience of being Randy Blythe of Lamb of God on television then? When you're on television, I'm not talking about like a YouTube interview like we do here, like when you've been doing like TV stuff.
I always find it amusing, you know, to be on TV. We've done a couple of shows. We did Conan O'Brien.
Yes,
Yes, back in the day, and we also did some other late night show.
How was it being on a television set then?
Everything's a lot smaller than it appears. You know, it's all smoke and mirrors. So for me, it was kind of like, I don't know, it's interesting to see the way, because I'm interested in photography and via extension video, you know, film and stuff.
Yeah.
It's interesting. So you can pick up different technical aspects of stuff, but like when we played Conan or whatever, everybody's like, this is so cool, we're gonna go be on Conan. And I'm like, I don't fucking care.
Right.
You know, and people are like, you're on TV. And I'm like, so what? You know, if you want to get me excited, you could say, this guy wrote a book and he wrote about you.
Right.
You know, I'd be like, that's awesome. You know, this guy has a photography exhibit and he has this gorgeous picture of you. That's awesome. It's art. It requires effort. You being on TV is just, it's foolish to me. I don't give a shit, you know? And plus, television is not a substitute for real life. I try and encourage people to travel for one reason. You and I have talked about this. It's so good for your perspective.
I agree.
You know, to go out and experience different parts of the world, and or just in America, go to a different fucking state, you know, see how different region of the country, see how people are. And people are like, I watched this program on, you know, China. And I'm like, well, I did too when I was a kid, and then I wanted to go there, so I did.
Yeah.
I watched, you know, this movie about, like, this TV whatever show about they went to eat food in Vietnam, and I'm like, yeah, man, I want to go do that too, but I'm going to go do it. You know? And I think that goes back to the whole consumerist thing. Like, people buy so much shit they don't need. Because
I'm incredibly guilty.
So am I, you know? So am I. But they buy so much shit they don't need. And then you're like, I went to Ecuador recently for 2 weeks to surf. People are like, you know, I'd really love to travel, but I don't have the money. I'm like, do you have the latest iPhone? Do you have cable TV? Did you just buy, you know, toys? What are you buying that you can cut from your budget? You know, that you could just save a little bit.
Yeah.
You know, I had a beautiful time in Ecuador, and we were staying in places that cost $15 a night. You know, it's not, and the traveling is not, that's another thing with television. They portray everything as high class, high style.
Yes.
I fly coach, motherfucker. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I can save up a little money and go somewhere and then live on the cheap, but the experience is going to be, you can't place value on life experience. You cannot place that.
I agree.
You can't say this is worth this much money. You can say it cost me $800 to fly to Ecuador.
Yeah.
But the experience,
you'll be talking about it forever.
Yes.
Yeah.
Priceless.
Yeah.
You know? It's stuff I will remember, and it's stuff that I put in me. It's kind of like I view life as the old saying, you are what you eat.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And my life experiences are the same thing. They're what I'm ingesting. You know, and if I'm sitting there just ingesting whatever somebody wrote for TV to sell products, it's garbage. It's fluff. And also the format of TV, and this is the difference between TV and film. This is why I like film. Television, if you think about like the average TV show, I believe it's 30 minutes long. That's not even the full length of it because you have commercials.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
You know, and those are fast forwarded. You know, so you'll pay attention. People don't have the attention span. You know, I look at my Instagram. I post pictures on it, and I write with it sometimes. And it's, you know, a paragraph or two. People are like, "This is too long. I can't read it." I'm like, are you a fucking idiot?
Dude, it's
wild. Are you a fucking idiot? What the fuck? This is what TV has done to you. Because it's like, everything is like, bam, bam, bam,
You blame
bam,
television for that?
Absolutely. Absolutely, I blame it for it. It's everything is fast forwarded, because in a sitcom episode or whatever you're watching that is 30 minutes long, you have, 10 minutes of advertising in general?
Yeah.
An entire story has to be compressed into 20 minutes. You know? It's ludicrous. What kind of weight can you convey with that when everything's jumping like this? And if you look at visuals in commercials now, everything is jump cut, jump cut, jump cut. Everything's like, because everybody's so fucking ADD, they can't, ADHD, whatever the term is, they can't pay attention. They can't read 2 paragraphs on an Instagram post. It's like, what the fuck is wrong with you? You know?
Do you feel like, can television ever be used for good?
That's the whole problem with it, is it could, I think, but it could. Yes, it could.
Yeah.
You know, and every now and then, like, when the news comes on or whatever, you know, there's an important story you might want to watch. You know, it conveys information, or in a disaster or something like that. The problem with can television be used for good is the people who control what go on television are not benevolent motherfuckers.
No.
They do not give a fuck about you or me. They care about making money. That's it. That's it. There's not, you know, the charity network. Have you ever seen a charity TV network? You know what I mean? Like, all we're going to do is tell you how to help people, and we're going to inform you that you don't need this. We're not going to try and sell you something. Everything has an agenda.
You're fired.
Yeah, yeah.
Sorry, I couldn't help it.
Yes, I probably am.
Yeah.
So, like, it could be, but the people who control it would not allow that.
I agree.
It's just not, it's not going to happen. And, you know, of course the government has certain things that you can and cannot say on TV, you know? In America, there's different things, like the female breast can't be shown on television.
You can see Bride of Chucky at 2 o'clock in the afternoon and see someone getting fucking murdered.
Yes!
That's insane.
Yeah, the female breast cannot be shown. It's obscene.
Yeah.
The thing that feeds us all.
Yeah.
You know, the source of all life. It's dirty.
Yeah.
You know? But, yeah. You can see, like, you know, even edited for TV horror movies.
Wow.
When I was a kid, I watched Children of the Corn on regular network TV out at my grandma's house, and she lived on a farm in the middle of the corn. It fucked me up, you know.
Yeah.
But you can watch that. You can watch someone getting a sickle through their head, but you can't see a natural part of life. You know, it's weird. It doesn't make any sense.
Well, you spoke a lot about traveling and about that kind of thing. When you're in other countries, is television in America drastically different to other places in the world?
Well, here's an interesting thing. Sometimes I like to look at TV in different places to see what's going on and what they're doing. And for instance, in Venezuela, which you can no longer go to because it's in upheaval right now, but we used to tour there, and Chavez was president, and Chavez had this television program called Allo Presidente, you know? And some people love Chavez and some people hate him. They're very split down the middle in Venezuela. But Chavez would sit on a TV once a week, sit on a TV set, and anyone in Venezuela could call and then talk to the president, right? So he grew up in a poor neighborhood by the beach, and he was a tarantula, I guess, a guy who sold tarantulas to tourists. So someone would call, I remember watching this, and someone would call, you know, Allo Presidente, and one of the guys there was translating for me. And he always started off the same way, because he was sort of a dictator, Chavez. Mr. Presidente, Allo Presidente, this is so-and-so from this village, and the price has doubled, and we can't afford it anymore. What are you going to do about this? And he'd say, you know, I remember when I was a small child living in the village, I had to catch spiders and to sell them, and we couldn't afford milk either. But I was trying, and I did lower the price of milk so that it could be good for everyone. But then these people who are against me started working to raise in the dairy union to raise the price of milk. And they are against me. They are against my efforts to help the common people. And he'd go into this frenzy, dude. And it was hilarious to watch, you know?
Yeah.
And it's like, holy shit. It's like this guy using television to further his political agenda, you know?
It's fucking terrifying.
It's crazy. In Taiwan, it's funny to watch the news. I was just there for a week over Christmas because, A, no one's allowed to have guns there. So I was talking to my friends there, and I was like, so when someone in Taiwan gets killed with a gun, it's a big deal. They're like, oh, it's huge. It's a big national story. I'm like, people get killed by guns every day here. You know, shit happens, you know? But you watch the news in Taiwan, and a lot of it is food-centric. It's hilarious, right? Like I was watching the news one time, and there was someone outside of a, this is the national evening news, outside a convenience store, standing next to an ice cream machine, and then they were interviewing people coming up about, they were pointing at the ice cream machine. I'm like, what is that? What are they talking about? They're like, well, there's this new flavor of ice cream that's hugely popular, and this 7-Eleven in Taipei, in the middle of Taipei, just ran out, and people are upset, so they're interviewing them about it. And I'm like, that's news? That's awesome. Yeah. Or like, you know, the price of chicken wings has gone up 20%, and people are in an outrage. And I'm like, you know, that's pretty fucking cool.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Considering that I've seen interviews with you where you've been like hearing gunshots on the street is part of your psyche. Like, we're out of ice cream is a pretty cool fucking major news story to have.
Taiwan, you know, I spent New Year's Eve there.
Right.
And I spent it on a rooftop of a building in a friend's house there by Taipei 101 watching the fireworks. And they were asking, what do you normally do on New Year's Eve? And I'm like, well, at my house, me and my wife count down to midnight, I give her a kiss, and then I always run to the back door and stick my head out the window, and I start the timer to see how long it takes for the gunshots to stop. That's how the new year starts. Pop, 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 pop. The longest it ever went on was 14 and a half minutes straight.
Yeah.
And then I don't want to step outside because what goes up must come down. People get killed that way.
Fucking
every year.
You do the same in England, but you don't hear guns, you just hear fucking umbrellas opening. So what do we do about it? Are we fucked? As far as, so when you, because like I've been searching for, listening to your words and trying to find, you know, maybe bits of hope in what you're saying, because I find your arguments pretty watertight.
Right.
With what you're saying. Do you see any change in the world coming via television for the positive?
Via television?
Uh-huh.
Absolutely not. No. I think the way you have to be very conscious in the way you consume information, even necessary information concerning, let's say, the state of what's going on in Los Angeles today, you know, if you want to check on traffic or whatever. I think there are alternative ways to find out the basic gist of what's going on, rather than sitting there and watching the news, watching the talking fucking heads. For me, and this may sound kind of grim, but this is for Blackcraft, and I think it's okay. For me, I kind of look at this whole television thing, and this is going to sound really bad, almost in a Nietzschean, almost Darwinian way.
How so?
Right? Because I'm not going to put all that garbage into my head. I'm going to be in better mental shape than you.
Right.
So I can say, hey, you know, this is fucked up. This isn't the way it's working. But it's up to each individual to choose whether to disengage with that. You know?
So,
and for me, and like my wife, and, you know, my family, we choose to disengage. It's up to everyone else. You can either sit there and be, you know, a couch potato and accept what they're giving you, or you can use your mind.
Yeah.
You can use your mind. That's why everybody was born with one. But I don't expect everyone to do that.
So, how satisfying was smashing the fuck out of a television in a Blackcraft car park today then?
Loved it. There was a good bit of fear because I did some research about getting electrocuted, and they're like, even unplugged, there's a charge. I'm like, well, fuck it, let's leave it plugged in. You know,
because why do it easy?
Why do it easy? I let go of the hammer right before it hit it, you know. And so I'm glad no one lost an eyeball or I didn't get electrocuted, but it was super satisfying, and I think the pictures are going to be marvelous.
Well, you can buy it on Randy's shirt right now. It's called The Lie Machine. It's available at blackcraftcult.com.